In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, my friends. This is Pinky.
And this is Priyanka.
And we're here to call out all things PakeAsPuck.
I'm off this week.
You were fine. I know you were looking at me like, is she going to say it the right way?
I think I was waiting for you to stump on it. And then, here I am just wobbling over my own words.
One of us has to be on top of it. Usually it's you. How was your week?
Oh, dude.
Uh-huh.
So I gardened over the weekend.
Like real gardening or gardening?
I wish it was more like edible gardening.
Okay.
But it was just like relocating some like random shit that we had everywhere. But anyways, we tried to keep the kids occupied with like other activities, and we're like, okay, watch a movie, let's come play outside, whatever.
Yeah, because you got like that big play yard back there, right?
Yeah, we've got like a little play set for them, and then they have bikes and scooters and everything. We're like, just play, it's nice out.
Yeah.
And me and Dad will like finish this up. So while I'm kind of going between front yard, backyard, I walk into the backyard and I see my son, the older one, just ass to grass.
Oh, God. Like bear?
Yes.
Like no chutneys?
No.
Oh, my God.
Like, what are you doing?
Ants can crawl up his booty hole.
He's like, what? You told me to water the plants.
Not with your
and
urine?
He's pissing everywhere. And
oh, my God.
The other two are cheering him on.
No. What is wrong with your child? I love this.
My question to you is, you have boys.
Yes.
Have they ever done anything like that? Because I don't want to see like little man butt cheeks in the backyard. And I just look at him, I'm like, if you gotta pee outside, like, I'm not gonna judge you, that's cool, but at least find a corner.
Right, like be discreet about it.
You can't have your junk out for the neighbors to see.
You ain't got no trees in your backyard to at least cover.
They're not mature.
I know, they're still just a baby. No, in all honesty, every time you tell me a story about the boys, obviously, not
they're
your
so
daughter.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm just like, did I just luck out, or are mine just dull? Like, or do they just have like...
Or am I just weird?
Notice how we blamed ourselves instead of like, are your kids ratchet? Or
what did I do to my kids?
What were you eating when you were pregnant with them?
I actually had a very healthy diet with him. It was ice chips.
Yes, because you were pregnant.
Brain freeze.
The second time you were pregnant at work, right?
Yeah. It
was the stress from that.
You think so?
I feel like it was.
I just kind of made him a little iffy.
But no, it wasn't like, I mean, yeah, I feel like it was a stress, yeah.
Real talk, I was very, very depressed during my second pregnancy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know it was like...
It didn't help with it.
I don't know if I passed some of my sad depression to him, or if he's just that kid and maybe he passed it to me in utero and I was presenting with it out front. But like, I had a really hard time, one, accepting that pregnancy, and then two, just being excited about it. Like, I remember just feeling very, very like, yeah, so what, I'm pregnant.
Yeah. And
then I started to come around towards the second half, but for a really long time I was not looking forward to it. It was very strange.
Yeah, but like, wasn't it also around the time where all that shit was happening at work?
No, I was being warned about things that were happening because...
So, but like, you got a heads up, yeah.
Yeah. I had received multiple warnings, like, just until you know, when you come back from maternity leave, things might be different. And 100% they were.
100, yeah.
It was so uncomfortable coming back to work.
Yeah, because your third pregnancy, that's when the shit hit the fan. But that kid is not as outrageous as your first.
No, but I also spent that pregnancy very, very grateful. Like, shit happened. And initially, I was going through a lot of stress. But then for the remainder of the pregnancy, I was very intentional about making sure I enjoyed it. And that kid's wild. I
think it was
That's the one that shit in the bed.
Yeah. No, I've heard other people telling the same exact stories where, like, their kid just opens the patio door and flings himself out there, pisses, and then comes back in. Like, It's like, bro, there's a bathroom right here. Like, what are you doing? You didn't need to do that. However, if there's a zombie apocalypse, you know that he's not going to be scared to go potty outside.
The very first time, it's actually a really funny story. We went to the Sixers game,
Okay.
and on our way out, like, you know how, like, at a basketball game, like, the parking lot's full. You can't just, like, back out right away.
No, you got to wait. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had to go. But we weren't about to walk back into the stadium, so I'm like, I
too
told my
far.
husband, I'm like, there's a tree right there.
Yeah.
So all I hear, though, is he, you know, we had to coach him. My husband's talking to him. I had to coach him, like, okay, you hold it, like, you, whatever.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you can't really, like, unzip. You have to drop trow.
Right.
Anyway, so all I hear from the car is like, whoa, it's like a water cannon.
There was that much pee that he thought it was like a water cannon.
Like, and the Paw Patrol.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
it's like a water cannon.
You're like, that's not a water cannon, bro. I know.
But that's boys, I guess. So I wanted to know, like, you never had anything
No,
like that?
mine's complete opposite. Mine's like, Mom, privacy.
Stage
I'm
fright.
like, yeah, I'm like, fuck your privacy. I fucking wiped your ass for 3 years. Get out of here.
Yeah, whereas this one too, he'll go to the bathroom and just sit down and leave the door wide open. I'm like, bro, I don't need to see that. Close the door.
I mean, in a way, I'm kind of jealous of that just because there's, like, no subject is taboo in your house. Like,
No, we talk about everything.
right,
It's
that's what I
kinda
mean.
all-
Like, no one's like, Mom, you know, and okay, it's fine if you're in your underwear. It doesn't matter. Like, we all had a hand in changing you, in taking care of you, in, you know, it's not like them walking in on Dad or them walking in on me. Like, that is outrageous.
you
I
know-
would lose my shit if my kids came up to me during...
That's been a topic I think that I came across one time on TikTok. Like, what kind of household were you raised in? Like, did you see your mom
Yeah, no.
naked?
No.
Ever?
No, we don't do
Right,
that in
we
our
never
culture.
did.
Our culture is not like that.
My kids have, though.
Yeah.
And I've just made it a point, not to parade myself around, but it's kind of like they
You
have
don't
kind
fight
of
it.
walked in on me, and I just say, hey, I'm changing my clothes. If you need something immediately, I will be right there. You know,
Yeah.
like, but they do. They just open the door and walk right in, and they've seen me. I try not to freak out on them,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I'm changing my clothes. I need a second.
No, but it's spectacular that you guys have such an open household like that. Like, I've never
We'll see how
assumed-
they turn out years later.
No, I feel like they're going to turn out to be the type of adults where they can have conversations and not giggle because the word penis was said or the word testicles
Maybe.
was said.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what we need.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think that's a
We'll
good thing. I think it's a good... It might not feel like a good thing right now because it's like, yo, we have neighbors. What are you doing? But it's...
Well, that's more
raccoons
just
piss in your yard,
yeah,
you know?
that's
Like-
more just to teach them. You do
Mod-
have to have
yeah.
privacy
In
right?
certain
Like,
areas,
I
yeah.
understand that you're comfortable peeing. Okay, just do it in the corner.
Yeah. Let's be discreet about it.
Yeah, like maybe they see your ass cheeks and not your balls. You
Right,
know, like
right. I love that.
Yeah.
That's spectacular.
stupid. They're just so stupid.
I love it. It's great.
Anyway, so do you have a story for Grind Your Gungies this week?
I do. Let's
get
head
into
on.
it.
Yes, let's do that. This week on Grind Your Gungies, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I have been encountering a lot of people in real life as well as on my screen who are constantly like shitting on how other people are raising their children because it's not how they raise their children. And
I still honestly can't believe that happens in this day and age.
exactly. And like prime example, right? This big thing of, and we've heard it across the board. It does not matter who you're talking to. You could be talking to educators. You could be talking to your friends, your cousins, family members, whatever, right? Coworkers. It does not matter. But the biggest point of contention is screen time. Like a lot of the teachers and faculties are like, the kids are getting too much screen time and they're getting dumber. Remember, like a couple episodes ago, I was like, they don't even know how to read analog clocks. They just know digital clocks.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is, what are you doing as a parent? Like, what, like, yes, you're, like, you can have the opinion or the mindset of screen time is bad. However, if you make it so your child has no screen time at all, because that's just how you are, you're a crunchy mom, hippie mom, whatever it is you want to call it, right? My kid's not going to have screen time. They're going to play with wooden toys, and they're going to be beige-ass kids, right? But
That's a stereotype.
I know. The beige toys.
I'm just gonna call you out on it.
I don't care. You can call it the beige toys. I mean.
Well, you're kind of grouping it all into one. Okay.
The Montessori, but like like they this is what I want, and there's no other way to be as a parent. So what you're doing now is that's great. Your children are not going to be exposed to screen time. They're not going to be exposed to those accounts that we hate our children watching on YouTube and all the other channels. However, now your child has no working knowledge of the environment that they are going to enter when they get into schooling. Meaning, they're not going to know how to use an iPad or a tablet or a computer because you did not allow them to have any screen time. And even if it's just
like
1 hour
functional stuff, yeah.
Right, like just things that they need to know in order to operate in school. Just like, when roommate number 2 started kindergarten 12 years ago, he had to know his ABCs, he had to know his 1, 2, 3s, he had to know how to spell his name first and last and write it. Right? Now, if I was like, no, he doesn't need to know how to write right now. He'll learn that when he gets to school. He's already behind now. Right? Like, if that's something that you need to know. He needed to know, like, all these kids, kindergartners that started school during COVID, they had no exposure to computers beforehand. They couldn't be in we couldn't have school help functions, right? Where it's like, hey, kindergarten parents, come with your child in the Chromebook and we'll teach you how to use it. There was nothing like that. And these are adults. These are adults that don't know how to use a Chromebook.
Yeah.
So now you're putting a little kid who can barely pull up his own fucking pants after he goes to the bathroom, and now he has to learn about a Chromebook, a broke-ass Chromebook nonetheless. So you're not even you're stacking the house against him. Like, you're not letting them be exposed to the things that other kids his generation are exposed to because you're like, screen time is bad. It's like, no, as a parent, you need to dictate what is good and what is bad for your child, taking into account the real world that we live in.
What are they watching? What are they doing with it? Are they literally on it all day long?
Exactly.
Like, if they are on it all day long and you're having tantrum issues, well, it's likely correlated.
Right.
But screen time, within reason, isn't bad.
Exactly.
It's a way of educating them, actually.
I know. And
with the right programming.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as if you're just willy-nilly letting them go free range on YouTube and watch whatever they want, then of course they're going to turn out one way or another. They're going to turn out, like, end up being a way that you didn't expect them to turn out, or have vocabulary that you didn't think that they should have at that young age. However, what are you doing as a parent? It's like the parents who blame the teachers for their kids getting bad grades.
I hear that that's really common.
It's like, what are you...
Yes. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? No, it's a team effort. Like, the only time, they use computers at school, but it's all educational, right? Like, those computers, they're locked for anything else. Like, they can try to go to certain sites and they can't get to them. They can try to access certain videos on YouTube and they can't get to them. So if the school system can do it, why can't you as a parent? Yeah. Put controls on them. But just the fact that, like...
Controls, and even, like, just methods of earning it, right? Like, I have a chart right now, and I'm not consistent with it. I'm not proud of that. But
it's okay.
I try my best with the 3 of them. But they have to complete certain things and earn minutes to watch.
Yeah.
And so when they complete those things, they can get that sort of whatever time that they want. And if they complete all of them, it usually equals to a movie, and so they can watch it.
Right.
So we try to implement that as often as possible. At the same time, things happen, and I'm almost like, okay, you guys can have like 30 minutes. Let me get this done. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it ebbs and flows, obviously, right? Because it's not going to be, because if you do that, I mean, with roommate number 2, it was the TV instead of like a tablet, right? And it was, he would just want to come home and just watch TV because he wanted to veg out. We did that all the time. When we would come home, the TV was our babysitter.
I watched Hey Arnold after school.
Exactly. Hey Arnold, everything on Nickelodeon.
Rocket Power.
Yes, I love Football Head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, we had to regulate with him. We had to make sure, okay, well, you need to do A, B, C, and D, and then you can get this much screen time. One episode,
because you're seeing it become a problem too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we implemented this kind of the same thing with roommate number 3, and it was like Monday through, Sunday night through Thursday night, you're not allowed on the computer. You can watch TV after you're done, but, like, you're not allowed on the computer because it's too close and you're not taking breaks, and so at least if you're sitting on the sofa and the TV is on the wall,
Yeah.
you have a good distance, right? And he knows not to push it. Like he tries, like, yeah, prime example, he tried to grab his computer yesterday because he was homesick, and we were like, no.
It's still
Like,
Monday.
it's still Monday.
Yeah.
It's still a school night. It's a school day. And did he fight me on it? No. Why? Because I'm the parent and he's the child.
There's a rule.
So, like, yeah, when people, like, and maybe
So
this is...
you're experiencing hate.
Yes.
Like in comments, you're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of people just...
Well, this is not what... I would never do this. It's just like, oh my God. Like,
eye
I would
roll.
never give my child a tablet on the plane. And I'm like, yeah, and you know what? We're all fucking cussing you out because your child is crying while we're trying to sleep on the plane.
So the plane, I tried really hard with my youngest one time. So we have to split up. We can't all sit together, obviously, right? So I was sitting with the baby. And I was like, okay, I can keep him entertained. You know, no big deal. I tried my best.
No.
But he was just not settling. And my husband was just like, just
give him the
give
fucking
him the tablet.
man.
Just give him the tablet. He'll be fine. And he did. He settled down. But I tried everything. We did little puzzles. We did the little, like, the fidget board
magnet board
thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we had little toys. I was like, let me hear, I can read to you.
Yeah. No.
Snuggle with me, everything. And nothing was working. And he's like, it's a 2-hour flight. It's okay.
Yeah.
And it is. It's okay.
It is. But
You just need to have that boundary of like, okay, now it's done. We're going to move on, do something else.
Right.
Transition.
Right. And I'm just like, you don't understand. Like, when you put your negative judgments out there for the world to see, that's going to make it so, and granted, us putting videos out there, that's the end of our responsibility, right? In reality, that's the end of it. Like,
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, how other people view those videos is not really, the onus is not on
how
us.
it's perceived.
Right. So, like, I can make a video, like I did today. I was like, don't argue with anybody born after 1995. They don't know cursive, okay? So if they can't even speak spicy or write in spicy, they're not going to be able to speak spicy. They're not going to have anything to say to you, right? Like, just something stupid. And that's me joking around. Now, if you get offended,
everybody hears
how is that my
way.
problem?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not, like, that was me just joking around. But the flip side, the videos that I've seen, it's just, oh, come and spend the day with me. And they're just so condescending. Their voice is very like the influencer chic voice where they're talking really slow.
I need to see one of these videos.
I didn't like it. I was like,
It doesn't seem relatable.
No.
Yeah.
That's
all it is. It's just not relatable.
I feel like it's gonna hurt people who are vulnerable.
Instead of like shitting on the moms that use screen time, be the person that's gonna put out content that can offer up other options.
Right.
Like, hey, instead of using screen time when you're trying to cook dinner, here's a few activities that you can potentially do. It's worked for me, maybe it'll work for you, right?
That's a different approach, and that's more appreciated.
Like, I could never.
Yeah.
People get mad. I've seen actually some TikToks about that. Like, if your kid is using a screen when you're at a restaurant, like, even if you don't say that they're an iPad kid, they're an iPad kid. Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily.
No, maybe they just needed a timeout.
How are you going to make a blanket statement like that?
Right. That's what I'm talking about. There's just blanket statement.
Kids are also going through different moods. There's times where some days we go out to eat and they don't need it. They're fine. They're entertaining each other and everything is great. And then there's other days where they're just tired and cranky and it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Mommy's also tired. That's why we're out.
Right.
That's why we're out in the first place.
Exactly.
I didn't want to cook either.
Yeah.
So here you go. Chill. Decompress.
Yeah.
I am also going to decompress. And that is okay.
It's fine. Whatever you decide to do okay, let's move on to the hot topic.
Okay.
Hot topic.
Are we stepping on that?
Yeah, we kind of are. So let's reverse the cha-cha slide, reverse.
Okay.
So our hot take. The hot take.
What's today's hot take?
We have been talking about this, but we've never actually dived into it. The hot take is, what kind of mom are you? Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So
is there an A or B option?
No, just so let's take a handful of such scenarios. So like we said, if you're at the restaurant, right, and your kids are just cranky, you're cranky, that's
Are
why
you
you're
the screen
out.
time mom or are you the not screen time mom?
Right.
Are you the go with the flow mom or are you the rigid stick to the
Right.
schedule mom?
Right. Are you a crunchy mom or just whatever the hell
I
works?
never understood that. Explain to me what a crunchy mom is.
A crunchy mom is
I have aged myself. I don't know what that shit means.
a crunchy mom is somebody who is constant, like, so think of granola, which is crunchy. So a hippie mom, a crunchy mom, they're all about natural,
All organic.
all organic.
Pesticide free.
Yeah, we don't pollute our minds, bodies, and souls with any outside influences. So,
Okay.
in reality, somebody who's opposed to screen time could be considered a crunchy mom, depending on how the rest
I like how
of
you're
their.
correcting your stereotype before because you glumped them all together.
I did. I'm gonna separate them out now. They each get their own identity. But yeah, like, so
And
what
it's a
kind of?
spectrum. Quite honestly, you could
I like
sway
mixing and
through
matching.
there. Hell yeah.
I feel like you like you almost have to ebb and flow as a parent because you have to take into consideration what your crotch goblins are doing, right?
Well, that, and I can't remember if we talked about this here or if I text you about that, but you become 3 different versions. Or
Yeah.
I become 3
You
different
have
versions.
multiple
You become
personalities.
two different versions. You have to, yeah, you split your personality
Yes.
and you have to parent each child differently. That's not easy.
Yeah.
You feel crazy.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
like, what works for one kid, one schedule works for one kid, the other one needs to be going the flow, and the other one kind of runs your ass to the ground.
Right.
So,
And now you're trying to figure out how to like discipline each one without the other one being like, that's not, like,
it's not fair.
yes.
Always.
And it does not matter how much of an age gap there is.
So you could be a little hummusy with one, a little crunchy with the other.
Yeah.
And you still get yelled at and
Yeah.
bitched at, and that's just
Yeah,
how
and
it
a
is
little,
until you die.
little Debbie cakes with the last one. Like, you know, the full spec. But I mean, that's kind of like if you don't ebb and flow, which, I mean, we can also talk about this as well, since we're talking about what kind of parent are you. Like, parent PTSD goes kind of hand in hand. Well, what kind of parent are you? Like, sometimes if you are that crunchy mom, that whole, like, I'm going to be organic, we're going to make sure no outside influences, all that stuff. But you could be setting yourself up for so much heartache because, like I said, you said it in the Grind Your Gungy segment, right? You were like, you guys had a 2-hour flight and you were trying so hard not to give him a screen because you had all the crunchy mom stuff.
It was just me and him sitting there, right?
Right.
And I was just like, you don't have your brother and sister influencing you right now. It's just me and you. We get along really well. You like me a lot.
A lot. Even to this day.
We're good. We can hang out. But he was pissed. And I was trying really hard to avoid the screen if I didn't need to, right? But it was a later flight. We were also delayed on top of that. Like, things weren't working in my favor, and I needed to be able to bend.
Right.
And I was having a hard time doing that. Thank God my husband.
But I
was
have witnessed, with all the flights I've been on, all the airports I've been in, I have witnessed so many, and we'll call those crunchy moms, the ones that are all fully organic, no outside influences, no pesticides, no screen, nothing, like fully organic, right? Crunchy moms. Like, I have seen them in the planes. Their children are screaming bloody murder, but yet they refuse to placate them because they're like, no, and they put their foot down, and I'm like, you just
So what are they doing during the flight? You know, because like I like to watch a movie on a plane.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like,
during
what
that
are
flight, you are just handing off your child between you and your significant other and walking up and down the aisle to calm him down. So you created so much more extra work for you and so much more heartache for you because you decided my child is never going to have a screen. Like, even if it's an educational show like Miss Rachel, you're still not going to let your child watch it. At least even if it's once in a while, like when you're home and it's an everyday situation and you're going to and from school, whether it's homeschool or not.
That's an important point.
Right?
So a lot of times it's like, you know, your Monday through Friday is consistent one way. And then when you're doing something that's out of the norm, it's okay to break the rules. That's the kind of parent I am.
Yes.
Right? So that's how I tend to bend
Yes.
a little bit. Because it's like, you have your consistency days with anything, right? With the kids, we try to do like no screen time during the week. That's never always going to happen. It happens, right?
Yeah.
Like, it happens. But we tried. We're like, okay, let's just stick, at least during the school year, let's just come home, have your snack, get your homework done, and then we'll like hang out and do stuff. Try to avoid screen time till about like maybe 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
And even then, they only get like a couple hours and then they got to go to bed, right?
Uh-huh.
So we try to be more rigid during the week, work out during the week, try to eat healthy during the week. And then on the weekends,
It's when you can relax.
loosen things up because
Yeah.
you want to go out and you want to do things. You're not following a strict schedule. You are a little bit more go with the flow. So you get a bend. You're going
Right.
to eat a little bit. You're not going to work out. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you are rigid all 7 days of the week, good for you.
I feel like that's hard to maintain.
It is.
Like, how do they do that?
Maybe for us, it's a little hard to maintain. Some people are very, very disciplined. And good for them if that works for them.
Right.
But if it's not working, you're going to see it in your kid right away. They're
Not
pissed.
even in your kid. Like, you're going to see it for yourself. Like, if it's not working and you're still holding true to your course, right? This is what it is. I don't care if it's, 7 days a week. I don't care if we have a layover somewhere. This is what it is.
It's going to present somehow.
It's going to present somehow.
Yeah.
You're either going to snap at your kids because they're not stopping crying, or they're not stopping their temper tantrum or whatever. But it's like, yo, you're at an airport and your kid's fucking hungry and you didn't bring enough food. Like, you didn't plan ahead appropriately. So what are your options now? You're going to let your kid starve? And there are some mothers who will let their kids starve.
Get out.
I am not joking you. That,
My kids are like always hungry. I'm like, yeah, fine, let's go get some Mickey D's.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? You gotta feed them.
you have to feed them. Like,
I try to pack all the snacks, and if they're still hungry, I don't deny that. Like, okay, you're
No.
telling me you're hungry, we're gonna find you some food.
Yeah, like, obviously, you're going to be money conscious and you're going to pack as many snacks as you can, but there's only so many snacks you can pack, especially for 3 fucking kids, Like, you're going to run out pretty quickly if each kid has one snack every 2 hours for 6 hours.
I underestimated the snack budget when I had
Yeah.
children. It's
They
a lot.
snack so much.
All day
They just like
long.
to graze. They
All
just,
day long.
like, every half an hour, roommate number 3 was snacking on something yesterday.
That's how I spend my summers now. So, like, this summer, I will have all 3 of them at home.
Oh my God.
It'll be my first summer with all 3 of them at home.
No.
And
You better set up
the
a snack station or something.
COVID year when I was pregnant in 2020, I was pregnant with the 3rd one.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to set it up this way where I would be like working when I was working. I set up, like, I rationed out snacks for the day. And I set them up on the counter. And I was like, this is what you get for the next 7 hours.
Yeah.
Feed yourselves, spend
Yeah.
for yourselves. And it sucked that I had to do it that way. But, like, work was so demanding.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like you'll be able to do that this summer.
It'd be
And,
different.
like, have a name, for, like, a bin for each kid.
Yeah, I'm going to do snack bins. Actually, that's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah. And
doing
be
snack
like, you
bins.
get a snack every this hour.
This is what you get for the day.
Yeah.
Once you're through, we'll hopefully have dinner ready.
Right. But, like, you get what I'm saying, though? Like, the fact that some of these parents are just, like, they hold so strong on the course of, this is how I'm going to raise them, no matter what. And I'm just like, no, like,
I don't judge them, like, to each their own in that regard, but for me, it's just, I think you have to be a little malleable in motherhood.
you have to be flexible.
That's just my
Yeah.
take on it. Like, you have to be a little malleable, mainly because each child is different, each situation is different. So, like, you got...
Did you read something this week? Malleable. That's a pretty...
Shut the fuck up. You're making fun of my vocabulary? No, I did
I love
not
it.
read anything.
I love it!
Sometimes I do bring out
Zinger.
chemistry terms. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, you probably...
But you
do,
gotta be
yeah.
able to bend,
Yeah,
okay? That's
no.
all I'm trying to say is one kid is one thing, but when you have multiples, they like to fuck with you a little
Yeah.
bit.
And you get tired with each one that you keep adding. You get tired. Like, it's because
You stop fighting it. It's just not worth it.
The things that you were gung-ho about with your first crotch goblin,
Because
you
you were
not
able
the
to
third.
focus on
Yes.
the one. You were able to only focus on the one so you can stay rigid. And I noticed the differences between all my kids. There's a lot of factors, I think. Some of it is just upbringing. There were a lot of things that I did with her initially, and so I'm seeing it as we're raising the other two.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it, I think, also is birth order. Like, she is classic older child. Very nurturing.
Very.
That's nothing that I did. That's just who she is.
Yeah, yeah.
She was born into it, you know? But I don't know, where was I going at with it? I think
A
you have to be
different parenting
flexible. I think that's the main
techniques,
thing. You have to be able to bend the rules.
I mean, I feel like if you don't, you're just going to create more heartache for yourself and more headaches for yourself, and you're going to create those scenarios where you end up having parental PTSD because
What do you mean by parental PTSD? Like just looking back at your
yeah.
time with them, and I think our parents have that. I can't say mine. Yeah.
You think Betty has that?
Absolutely.
Why? What
I-
makes you think that she regrets some
So,
of the ways that she raised you?
I was laughing about this over the weekend. I was making fun of her about this.
Uh-huh.
Because she was talking about how it's okay to let things slide with the kids and stuff.
Of course. She's
And
a grandma, so she could do that.
Right. And so I was making fun of her about it because I'm just like, where was that when we were kids?
Yeah.
You
Where was that leniency?
You called us, like, nutput, nalayak,
Oh, no.
gagri. You know, like all these insults constantly
Yeah.
for doing what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like if I was sitting around because I wanted to watch the Bears game,
yeah.
but she expected me to do the dishes.
Yeah.
Right? Like we just
Yeah.
kind of got scolded for a lot of those things, and she's like, "Oh, I see you get mad with the kids, but they're little." And I'm like, I'm not getting mad at them per se. They are blatantly ignoring my ass.
Yeah.
And they know, come home, take your shoes off, put them away. Like,
There's a
basic
routine.
skills.
Yeah, there's a
And you
routine.
can't get mad at me about something that I'm expected to teach them.
Yeah.
I forgot where I'm going with this. I'm kind of just rambling right now.
No, you're not
But
rambling. It was
I think to some degree she has that PTSD because everything that she did with me, she kind of regrets.
And she's kind
she
of course
relives.
correcting with her
And sometimes
grandkids.
and when she sees me parenting my children a certain way, both ways. Sometimes Betty comes out and I catch myself being her, and I was like, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I have to correct myself. And then she'll also see me doing things my way, and she has those like,
This
shit,
is how I should have
scolded
done it. Yeah.
my kids too much. She's so patient with them.
Yeah.
She has a lot of those reflections. And I'm not trying to show her up by any means, but I'm kind of just like, I don't want to repeat that.
Yeah.
I remember getting yelled at for not putting my laundry away correctly.
Right.
For not taking the t-shirts out of the sweatshirts.
Right.
I remember getting
or not
yelled
turning
at.
the underwear inside out. Yes.
Right. And so
yes.
for me, it's kind of just like, did you put them in the basket? You get a star.
Right. Like what's more important? Putting the clothes in the hamper or making sure they're in the hamper and inside
Right
out and
side
all
out.
that, like all of these other
Yeah.
things. And it's like, and to our parents, right, it's, well, why can't they just do it all? Why can't they do it the right way the first time? Then no one has to yell at them, which is what we got told, right?
But it's the right way for them.
Right. Correct.
Right? It's the right way for them. Like
Correct.
that's how
they
do it.
want it done. And so that's why they're scolding you on, well, it's not that hard. Why don't you just do it the right way from the beginning? And because we grew up with that, the constant badgering, the constant, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. You're not helping enough. You're not helping enough. And we were like, let's take a step back. What is actually needed? I need them to put the fucking clothes in the hamper. The rest will take care of itself. It does not matter if they're wearing underwear inside out. Guess what? It's the same on both sides. The slot is just in a different location for their pee-pee.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Are
like,
you wearing underwear? Like, I go back way to the basics.
Yeah.
You wearing it?
right, and are they clean? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Are you wearing it and is it clean? That's all I care about. Like, I don't stress, like, I have never nagged the family about making sure their socks are inside out or their underwear is inside. Like, I'm like, you didn't think it was important enough to turn it inside out. I'm not going to turn it inside out.
I actually hear your voice a lot. Because there was a time, I think we talked about this
scary.
on one of our walks, where I was getting frustrated because my husband would be leaving stuff out.
Yeah.
And you told me, it was just like, I just wash them inside out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't I do that?
Yeah.
But I hear that because it's not worth the heartache.
No. Like, what is important? Like, we have decided what is important to us, and we have disciplined accordingly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to our mothers, the Boomer Indians, the Bettys and the Ushas, they feel like everything's important. And I'm like, this is why you were so stressed out. is because you felt everything was important.
Because you had to do everything.
Right. They didn't have any help. We were, the oldest daughters were the only ones that would help
Their
them.
only help was when we were capable of doing it.
Right. And that's not, no, your life partner should have been the one helping you.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there. But when I say parental PTSD, what I mean is like, if, prime example is when you have a newborn and the newborn is colicky, right? Constantly crying. There's nothing you can do to help a colicky baby. It is based on I think it's based on their feeding or something like that, right? And so it's a lot of like, you can slow it down, you can spread it out. Like, they give you all these tips and tricks, but some babies, they're just colicky and they just will cry, and it's a phase. And these parents are exhausted. They don't know what to do. They don't know night from day because they're dealing with this. That is something that is a PTSD thing.
I had a colicky episode, and then some of my friends that have experienced it, they realized that it was through a lactose allergy.
Okay.
So there's some answers, but
Yeah.
there's not enough. There's no
Right.
there's no actual answer for it.
Right.
There's just methods to try to deal with it. But
So then in the future, what ends up happening, if you do have, depending on what your mental state is like, right? If you did end up having the parental PTSD, is you hear a baby crying and you get so triggered that you have to leave the room.
that happened to me.
Right.
That happened to me.
So that's parental PTSD. Yeah.
We had our friends over, and I feel like such an asshole thinking like this, but it was like they had I think their baby was like 3 months old at the time, 2 or 3 months old. And they were over, and the baby started crying. And like everything inside of me started to just rage.
Oh God.
I was like, oh my God, like I can't handle the sound of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever expect something like that to happen to me. And I feel for them as parents, because I'm like, I know they're trying to do whatever they can. I didn't want to overstep either. Like, let me hold her. I didn't want to hold her. I was
No.
like, your kid's crying.
Yeah.
I wanted nothing to do with
I'll
it.
end up launching her across the room.
No.
Just kidding.
But I was kind of just like, can you hold her and try to settle her down? I was having those types of feelings, even though I felt bad. I was like, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing anybody can do in the moment. The baby probably just wants mom.
Yeah. But why were they giving the baby attention, or were they trying
No, I think they were just like, okay, well, let's just see. Like, they were testing it out, like, let the baby cry for a few minutes to figure it out.
That's not something you test at a friend's
home.
house. You test that at home.
Right.
Like, if I'm sleeping over my mom's house, because we're in Connecticut, I'm not going to start sleep training at her house at night. The baby's going to be fucking crying. And then
Right.
she's going to be like, oh, what's going on? I will help you. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. I don't need your help.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I mean when I say parental PTSD. Like, certain things, because it was so traumatic for you,
it
will
triggers it.
trigger you when you see or hear it with other adults with their children. Like, I get like, not because it happened to me, but one of my big things is if I witness somebody putting their child into their car seat incorrectly, I get really like,
Yeah.
like, I have to walk away. Like, because if I say something, I'll end up being a sarcastic asshole.
Okay, so I guess this is a different topic, but like, at what point do you feel the responsibility as a parent to say something, though? Because like, I said it to my brother one time.
Okay.
It wasn't my brother or somebody else. I think it was my brother.
Like, you called him out on something he was doing?
I don't want to use the word call them out. Like, I saw the baby being put into the car, and I was like, just make sure that the strap is in the center. Like, and that's all I said. That's not a call out or to insult
That's
or
just a
anything like
helpful-
that. It's just,
Yeah.
It's just like, I think it's a little low. Bring that pocket thing up a little higher, And they knew not to put her in the jacket. Like, the jacket is like a big deal too, But I was like, can we just move it up a little bit? Like, it didn't sit well with me. I'm like, can you just a little more to the center?
Yeah, no, the
You know?
delivery is where it matters. Yeah. I think you need to.
Too often, I think we ignore the things because we don't want to be controversial. And we're like, I'm not going to start a fight with this person. And you're not. You're just trying to, hey, there's a better way to go about it. Do you mind if I share? We can't say that either anymore.
And
Because people are just like, oh, you think you're better than me? That happened.
yes. What?
My sister-in-law.
No. Oh, yeah. New Jersey?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah. Not the nice one.
Oh,
Yeah.
New Jersey. I mean, she's a cunt, so it's fine. I said it, not you. She's not going to listen.
Yeah. I just got attacked. We'll go into that.
This is, yeah, but we can talk
I
about
want
it.
to air that out.
No,
just
not yet. Let's wait 5 years.
Not doing give a shit. I don't even talk to her.
No, but yeah, like the thing is, we can't even assist a fellow, and I joke about it on stage, right? I'm like, if your kid is giving you an issue flat and you see me, flag me down. I will discipline the fuck out of your kid. I will make them cry so you don't have to. So you could be I will be the
Right.
bad guy so you could be the good
I'm
guy.
that mom that, like, if I am on the airplane and I see a kid crying, I'll try to entertain them.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'll be like, I mean,
Like, here, I have an extra couple crayons. Does he want these? I'll
yeah.
do that.
Yeah. I've gone as far as offering to hold the baby.
Like,
If only if
do
you're
you want to
comfortable.
walk alone for a couple seconds?
Do you need some time out? I think you need a time out, Mom. Like, but it's true. Like, we can't even offer like friendly advice to one another unless
It
you're
is
really close.
unsolicited, but at the same time, it's not with any ill intent.
Right. It's not detrimental to your health. Like, if anything, we're trying to make it so that, hey, maybe you didn't like the whole moving the clasp, right? Maybe they weren't aware that it was too low. Because when you're
Or
moving
maybe they thought
quickly,
that it was just comfortable.
right.
I was looking at it and like, let's just bump it up a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
Yeah, like
inch and a half. That's it.
right. And I mean, yes, at the end of the day, whatever decisions involves your child are yours to make, right? Does not matter what I tell you, does not matter what your friend tells you, your mom, your cousins, whatever. It is for you and the other person that made that human being to decide that, right? And we get it at
so
parties.
much guilt sometimes when I do offer any unsolicited advice. I always like preface or end the sentence like, but if you feel differently,
Yeah.
I just have to cover my ass. I'm not trying to boss you around in
No.
any way. I'm just like,
But the thing is, by the time they got to us, they've heard it from so many other
Probably.
people, especially in our community.
Yeah.
Especially in our community. They've heard it from so many other, their own mothers, mother-in-laws, aunties, and people who think they know better. It's like, bitch, the last time you dealt with a baby was 40 years ago, okay? Like, times have changed. Don't tell me to put a bumper in the crib anymore. Like, you trying to make my child die? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, just certain, and something as simple as, if I'm having a party at my house and I see a kid going into the soda cooler to get soda, I will literally look at him and be like, did your mom say that's okay? And if they're old enough to go get it from the cooler, I know they're old enough to understand me.
yeah.
And then I'm like, let's go see if your mom's okay with it. And I take them to their mom.
Do your kids drink soda, by the way? Off topic. I'm going. Do your kids drink soda?
Like we don't buy it in the house that, like, we've been buying it recently because of my father-in-law. However, when we have parties and stuff, they'll drink it and then it'll get finished, but I don't replenish it.
I had this theory that when the kids asked me for soda, I don't have like a big soda sweet tooth kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But every now and then,
You give them a Sprite.
pizza, this and that, whatever,
Yeah.
it calls for a soda, so I'll have one. So if my kids ask me for a soda, I'm like, go ahead, try it. And I'm thinking they're not gonna like it, right?
They loved it.
No. The first two did not. They're like, that's spicy. And they didn't care for it. They were so turned off to it. They are water drinkers.
Yeah.
Water
That's
or
excellent.
milk.
That's
Okay,
excellent.
that's what they drink. I thought it would work for the third one.
He loves it.
Oh no, he'll polish off a can if you let him.
Yeah, no.
And so I'm like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
No, Sprite, because I'm like, you don't need caffeine right now. Caffeine is not necessary.
Sprite doesn't have caffeine.
No.
I thought it was all soda. It doesn't?
Anything that's clear does not have caffeine in it.
Shit, I had no idea.
Yeah, when it's brown, it has caffeine. Like coffee.
Oh.
Orange soda has no caffeine,
That's
in
a fun
case you were
fact.
wondering.
But orange soda has a buttload of sugar.
Yeah.
I think it has more than, like...
Yeah.
No, grape soda has the most, I think.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Who's drinking that? Oh, my God.
I had a phase.
Oh, God.
It was so good.
Ew! Oh, do you like creamsicles, too?
No. Is that the orange
Yeah.
in the ice cream?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Thank
it was
God.
like a long, long time ago. I was like, oh, grape soda's not so bad.
Okay. Yeah, no, ours, the first, we let them drink at parties because you can't, unless there's juice, you can't really get away with it, right? Like, yes, you can have water, but sometimes they need that little sugar burst because we're at a party and I don't need them to melt down, right?
Don't crash just yet.
But it's always been Sprite or orange, nothing Coke related,
Okay.
nothing caffeine related. And then at home, if if I really need something, if I'm out and about, running errands, I'll get a small 1 liter, the small bottle, 20 ounce bottle. but they know not to touch it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, you don't need this because we're already jacking you full of
No, I'm
chemicals.
at the point where if you have soda in the house, it needs to be in an opaque
Yeah.
vessel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that little guy will.
He will
I know.
devour it.
I'm so fucked.
He's gonna be like a caffeine addict.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, "Argh."
He's gonna be like that one Karen that always like picks up the 24-ouncer
Yeah.
at the 7-Eleven before work.
It's no different than drinking coffee. I used to have
at the movie theaters like.
yeah. It's just like, bro, you're not supposed to crack a can in the movie theater. We can hear you. We had a teacher like that. Senior year, she taught health class because she taught health class, and she would have a can of Diet Pepsi every single morning.
There's people like that. Like, do you remember at work where they would walk in with like the big guzzlers of soda in the morning? Now I don't know what's worse, soda or a drink from Starbucks. You know, like it's equivalent when it comes to sugar, honestly.
Yeah. No, I think there's the diet soda's less sugar, or a diet soda because it doesn't have the real sugar.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this.
Yeah.
I know you're a diet soda drinker. I think diet soda is absolute crap.
I know.
And
I just can't get the fact that it says
if you like it, you like it.
Yeah. I've tried drinking regular, and I'm just like, this is too
I would
much.
rather have like 4 ounces of the regular stuff than drink diet soda. We're just different. What kind of mom are you?
I'm a diet soda mom. I'm definitely not. I don't think I'm definitely not a crunchy mom. Like the whole that's a lot of work.
Crunchy moms, I think are the rigid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I can't be 100% rigid, and like I said, it does not matter if
we're not
they're
like that about anything in our lives, though. Like for the most part, we're pretty go with the flow.
No, I'm pretty like rigid with bedtime.
Okay.
Because if they don't go to sleep at a reasonable time, they will not wake up in the morning.
That was actually my main rule with
Yeah.
everything. I was like, sometimes we skip a daytime nap. Not when they're little.
Yeah.
But you know that intermediate time when they're toddlers?
Yeah.
When they're like, sometimes need a nap, don't always need a nap.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. Sometimes we skip them, but bedtime is always at the same time.
Yeah.
Lights out.
I'm just that's the only thing I'm really strict about, because then if you don't go to bed properly the night before, it's going to create problems the next morning because you're going to be too tired and you're not going to want to get up, and just it's going to compound.
Yeah.
Right? And so now that is actually fucking with my schedule, because now I
You're
can't
up
do
late.
the thing. Right.
Yeah.
And not even up late. Like I'm rushing in the morning, and now instead of you getting your backpack ready, which you should because you're 11 years old, I have to get it ready for you. And what if I miss something?
They don't do it the night before?
They do. Well, like, roommate number 3, he has his backpack. It's always packed, but I'm talking about, like, if he has to take lunch or something. Like, he knows where everything is, all the parts and pieces that make up lunch from home.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I'm not here, Dad expects him to do it all. And I'm just like, how? Because I do it for, like, I when he's eating, I'll fill up his water bottle.
It's the conditioning of doing it, and that's not a bad thing.
I know.
There's just like a little
See, I am
extra hand
soft.
of love.
I am soft.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that. What kind of mom are you? Let us know in the comments, just because we like to know what we're dealing with. And we want to thank you for listening and or watching. We hope that this sheds some light on, everything that's PakeAsPuck. Hello, my friends. I can't believe it. We forgot to finish our intro. I guess we were just having too much fun, or we were just too tired, or we're way too new at this. But thank you for listening. Okay, bye.